Good evening. I want to start with a question. How many of you have ever had a dream about someone you love who has passed away? Maybe it was a parent, a friend, a partner, someone whose presence you miss deeply. In the quiet of your dreams, they came to visit. It wasn't a random event. No, it was a sacred moment, a reminder that the ties that bind us go far beyond the limits of time and space. When we lose someone we love, the pain of their absence can feel almost unbearable. The finality of death, the distance between us and the ones we once held so closely, can leave an ache that runs deep in our hearts. It's easy to believe that when a person passes away, that's the end of our connection with them, that somehow the space between life and death creates an impenetrable wall. But what if I told you that this belief might not be entirely true? What if the connection we share with those who have passed transcends the physical realm? What if in some way we are still connected to them in ways we cannot always see or fully understand? The idea of connection beyond the physical realm is something many cultures, faiths, and spiritual teachings have held for centuries. It is the understanding that our relationships don't simply end when a person dies. There is something much deeper at work here, a bond that isn't confined to what we can touch, see, or hold. These connections are felt through emotions, memories, and even dreams. It is as if the threads that tie us to those we love continue to stretch across time and space, even after death has taken them away from us physically. Think about the people in your life who have passed on. You may not be able to talk to them in the traditional sense, to see them with your eyes or touch their hands. But can you still feel their presence in your heart? Can you still recall their voice, their laughter, their wisdom? Can you hear the echo of their lessons when you find yourself in difficult situations? That is the essence of connection beyond the physical. The love, the impact, and the lessons they imparted do not simply disappear when their physical body ceases to exist. Their energy, their essence, their spirit lingers in a way that is often difficult to explain, but very real. We often see this kind of connection in the form of dreams. How many times have you woken up from a dream where someone you've lost seems to visit you? It might be a short conversation, a touch, or just their presence in a way that feels so real, so comforting, that you wake up and wonder if it was truly a dream at all. These dreams are often moments where the boundaries between the physical and spiritual worlds blur, where love and connection transcend the confines of time and space. In these dreams, it can feel as though the person is right there with you, offering guidance, love, or simply reassurance that they are still with you, even though you can't see them. Beyond dreams, these connections can also be felt in subtle, everyday moments. You might catch a scent that reminds you of them, maybe their favorite perfume or the familiar smell of their cologne. You may find yourself thinking of them in a moment when you need guidance, and you feel as though they are speaking to you, giving you the strength you need to face a challenge. In these instances, the love you share doesn't simply vanish when they left this world. It continues to exist in ways that aren't limited by the physical boundaries of life and death. Sometimes these connections manifest in the way we find ourselves drawn to certain places, objects, or even people after a loved one passes. You might find yourself returning to a favorite spot you once shared, walking the path you both walked together. Maybe you feel a sudden sense of peace or comfort there, as if they are still with you in spirit, reminding you that you are never truly alone. These experiences can be incredibly powerful because they remind us that the relationship we had with someone is not bound by the physical realm. It stretches beyond it, continuing in ways we might not always understand. It's important to understand that this connection is not just one-sided. While we may feel our loved ones reaching out to us from the other side, they may also feel us. The energy and love we send out into the universe, our thoughts, our prayers, our memories, can reach them as well. Just as we can feel their presence, they can feel ours. This exchange of love and energy can offer comfort, not just to us, but to them as well. It is a reciprocal bond that transcends death, one that speaks to the eternal nature of love. The truth is that love does not have an expiration date. It does not stop when the heart stops beating. The bond we share with those we love is eternal, stretching beyond the physical, beyond time, and beyond life itself. In moments of grief, in times of longing, remember that the connection you have with your loved ones is not confined to the physical world. It is an unbreakable thread that stretches across time, transcending death itself. The love you share continues to live on in ways you may not fully understand, but can always feel. Grief is a deeply personal journey, one that touches each of us differently. When we lose someone we love, it often feels like the world shifts beneath our feet, leaving us unsteady, vulnerable, and unsure of how to move forward. The emotional pain of loss can be overwhelming, and it can seem as though healing is an impossible task. We search for ways to process the feelings that come with loss, and we often find ourselves yearning for closure, the sense that we can finally make peace with the absence of the person we loved. However, healing and closure aren't always as straightforward as we might hope. They don't always come in a neatly packaged moment or a clear resolution. Sometimes they arrive in unexpected ways, and at times we least anticipate. One of the most powerful ways healing can manifest after a loss is through the dreams of those who have passed. Dreams are often seen as a place where our subconscious mind works through unresolved emotions and thoughts. When we dream of someone who has died, it can feel like a message, a bridge between our world and the spiritual realm. In these dreams, the person we've lost might speak to us, offer us comfort, or even show us that they are at peace. These moments, while surreal, can bring a profound sense of closure that's difficult to find in the waking world. Dreaming of a loved one who has passed is not merely a manifestation of our grief, but a vehicle for healing. It can provide us with the space we need to confront unfinished emotions, questions we never had the chance to ask, or words we never had the opportunity to say. How many times have you wished you could say just one more thing to that person, tell them you love them, apologize for something, or share a part of your life that they weren't to witness? These dreams often become the outlet for those words, allowing us to express what we never could when they were alive. In this way, dreams offer us a sense of closure by helping us work through these unresolved emotions and providing us with an opportunity to say goodbye even when we didn't have the chance to do so before their passing. Moreover, these dreams are a way for the spirit of our loved ones to reach out, to offering comfort and reassurance that they are okay. It's common to experience a sense of peace or relief after a dream in which a loved one is calm, happy, or in a place of contentment. For many, these dreams feel like a confirmation that their loved ones have moved on to a better place. This can bring immense comfort, especially when we've spent so much time worrying about them and wondering if they found peace after their passing. In these dreams, we are given the opportunity to let go of the fear and worry that we've carried, allowing us to heal and move forward in our own lives. While dreams provide a powerful source of healing and closure, there are other ways in which closure can come after loss. Sometimes healing takes place when we are able to accept that our loved ones are no longer physically present in our lives, but their impact remains. It's in the lessons they taught us, the love they gave, and the memories we carry with us. Closure in this sense doesn't mean forgetting about the person we've lost. Rather, it's about acknowledging that their role in our lives has shifted. They are no longer with us in the same way, but they continue to influence and guide us in ways that are unseen but deeply felt. Their legacy lives on through us, and this realization can help us heal as we honor their memory. Sometimes healing and closure require us to look inward and come to terms with the unresolved emotions within ourselves. Grief can bring up feelings of guilt, regret, or anger, things we didn't know we were holding on to. Healing often involves facing these emotions head on, allowing ourselves to process them fully. Dreams about our loved ones can act as a catalyst for this inner work, giving us a safe space to confront feelings we've buried deep within ourselves. The act of confronting these emotions, whether through dreams, memories, or personal reflection, creates a space where we can finally release them and move toward healing. It's also important to recognize that closure is not always a singular event. It's not always something we experience once and then put behind us. Grief is a long, winding road that may take years to navigate. Healing, too, is a continual process. There will be moments when the pain resurfaces, and there will be times when we feel that closure slipping away. But even in those moments, the healing continues. Dreams and memories, small gestures of connection from our loved ones, continue to offer comfort and closure over time. Healing is not a destination, it is a journey that unfolds gradually, and it is one that we must walk at our own pace. True healing is not about erasing the pain of loss, but about learning how to live with it in a way that no longer holds us captive. It's about understanding that the love we shared with someone who has passed is not bound by the physical realm. It transcends space and time, becoming a part of who we are. As we embrace this deeper connection, we begin to experience the kind of closure that brings peace to our hearts and allows us to move forward with grace. The concept of the spiritual realm has fascinated humanity for millennia. Across cultures, religions, and belief systems, there has always been a shared understanding that there is something greater than the physical world we can see and touch. It's a realm beyond our senses, a space where souls exist beyond their earthly lives. Many believe that when a loved one passes away, they continue to exist in this spiritual realm, offering guidance, protection, and comfort to those they left behind. But what if I told you that sometimes these messages from the spiritual realm don't just stay in the realm of belief or faith? What if in some way these messages come through to us in our everyday lives, especially in moments when we need them the most? The idea that the spiritual realm communicates with us is not a new one. It can be found in ancient traditions, sacred texts, and modern spiritual practices. People have long believed that the souls of loved ones who have passed are still capable of reaching out to us, offering advice, wisdom, or simply the reassurance that they are at peace. But how do these messages manifest? How do we know when they are coming from the spiritual realm? And how can we learn to recognize them? One of the most common ways that messages from the spiritual realm appear is through dreams. Dreams are a powerful tool of the subconscious mind, a space where our thoughts, fears, and desires often surface. However, dreams can also be a bridge to the spiritual realm. Many people report vivid dreams in which a deceased loved one appears, offering advice, comfort, or simply a sense of peace. These dreams are often so powerful that they feel more like a visit than a typical dream. In these moments, it can feel as though the veil between life and death is momentarily lifted, and the person you've lost is right there with you, speaking to you in a way that transcends the physical world. In these dreams, the messages can be subtle yet profound. Sometimes a deceased loved one may simply appear to offer you a smile, a reassuring touch, or a moment of calm. These moments can bring a sense of comfort, letting you know that they are watching over you, that they are at peace, and that you don't have to carry the burden of grief alone. Other times, the messages may be more direct, providing guidance for something you are facing in your life. Perhaps you are struggling with a difficult decision, feeling lost or unsure of your next steps, and in the dream, your loved one offers a word of advice or simply helps you find clarity. These messages can bring a sense of peace, offering the assurance that your loved one is still with you, watching over you, and guiding you from the spiritual realm. In addition to dreams, many people report experiencing messages from the spiritual realm through signs or synchronicities in their daily lives. These signs often come at the most unexpected moments, when you are feeling particularly vulnerable or in need of support. You might be going about your day when suddenly you notice a song on the radio that your loved one used to love. Perhaps you find a feather on your path, a symbol of spiritual connection, or you catch a familiar scent that reminds you of them. These signs, no matter how small or fleeting, can feel like a direct communication from the spiritual realm, offering you a sense of comfort and connection. These messages are not always as obvious as a dream or a sign. Sometimes the spiritual realm speaks to us through our intuition or inner knowing. It might be a gut feeling that leads you to make a decision you were unsure about, or a sense of calm that washes over you in a moment of uncertainty. You might feel inspired to take a specific action, or you might suddenly find the strength to face something you've been avoiding. These feelings, though subtle, can be powerful messages from the spiritual realm, guiding you in the right direction and helping you navigate the challenges of life. There is also a belief that those who have passed continue to communicate with us through mediums or spiritual channels. Mediums claim to act as intermediaries between the living and the spirit world, offering a way for messages to be conveyed from the other side. While this practice is not universally accepted, many individuals find comfort in the messages they receive through mediums, feeling that their loved ones are reaching out to offer guidance, love, or healing. Whether through a psychic reading or a spiritual session, these messages can help individuals gain closure, find peace, and reconnect with their loved ones in a meaningful way. Regardless of how these messages come to us, the common thread is this: the spiritual realm offers us an ongoing connection to those we have lost. The bonds we share with our loved ones do not end with their physical departure. These connections continue to exist, and the messages they send are a reminder that they are not truly gone. They may no longer be present in the physical world, but their love, wisdom, and guidance continue to surround us, offering comfort, reassurance, and strength. The spiritual realm is not a place of separation. It is a place of ongoing connection where the souls of those we love remain intertwined with our lives, offering their light and love as we move through the journey of life. Grief, loss, and love, they all leave an indelible mark on the soul, transforming us in ways we may not fully understand. When someone we cherish passes away, the emotional impact is not just a passing wave that eventually recedes. It is a deep current that continues to ripple through every part of our being. Often, the emotions we feel after the loss of a loved one are complex, multifaceted, and difficult to articulate. What's fascinating, however, is that these emotions are not only tied to our conscious thoughts and experiences, they also reveal themselves in ways we don't always expect. In fact, the loss of a loved one often shows up in unexpected places, like in our dreams, memories, or even in our daily interactions. These experiences are reflections of our emotions, deep calls from within, urging us to confront our grief, our fears, and the unhealed areas of our hearts. One of the most striking ways that our emotions reveal themselves is through the dreams we have about those who have passed away. Dreams are often seen as a direct mirror to our subconscious mind. In the realm of sleep, the conscious mind takes a backseat, and the emotions we carry, whether buried deep or just beneath the surface, are allowed to emerge. When we dream of someone who has passed away, it can be a clear indication that there are unresolved emotions tied to their absence. Perhaps there's an unspoken word, an unfinished conversation, or a lingering feeling of guilt or regret. These emotions may surface during the dream, often in a way that feels intensely real, almost as if the person is still with us, urging to face what we have not yet let go of. Sometimes the emotions that arise in these dreams are not so much about the deceased person, but about ourselves. In our dreams, the feelings we have about the loss are often reflected in the way we interact with the person we've lost. We might find ourselves expressing things we never said, seeking forgiveness for things left unsaid, or even confronting the fear of their absence. These moments are like emotional mirrors showing us the feelings we need to work through in order to heal. It is as if our subconscious is trying to provide us with the space we didn't have in the waking world to process and release these emotions. Beyond the dream world, our emotions may also show up in the small, seemingly insignificant moments of our everyday lives. We might hear a psalm on the radio, see a photograph, or walk past a place that reminds us of the person we've lost. These triggers often evoke powerful emotions that catch us off guard. Suddenly, we feel the weight of our grief more deeply than we anticipated, or we might be flooded with nostalgia and longing. These emotional responses can be disorienting, leaving us feeling exposed, vulnerable, and unsure of how to handle the intensity of what we're feeling. Yet these emotions are simply reflecting the depths of our attachment, our love, and our unresolved grief. Grief is often described as something that comes in waves, ebbing and flowing as we try to make sense of the loss. But what if those waves are more than just a reaction to the absence of our loved ones? What if instead they are a reflection of the parts of ourselves that need healing? The grief we experience often forces us to confront our own fears, our insecurities, and our sense of identity. Who are we now that they are gone? What do we do with the space they once occupied in our lives? These questions stir up a deep well of emotions that may have remained hidden or unspoken. They force us to examine the nature of our connections, the strength of our relationships, and the way we see ourselves in the world. The grief we feel is not just an emotion, it's a process of self-reflection, helping us uncover truths about who we are and what we need in order to heal. As we navigate this emotional journey, we may also begin to notice how these feelings influence the way we approach other aspects of our lives. The emotions that stem from loss can manifest in our interactions with others. Perhaps we become more guarded, afraid to open ourselves to vulnerability, or maybe we lean in harder to our relationships, seeking connection where we once felt distant. Sometimes we may even find ourselves replicating certain behaviors or attitudes we witness in the person we lost, almost as if we are attempting to carry their energy forward in our own lives. These emotional reflections can guide us toward a deeper understanding of what we truly value, what we fear, and what we need to let go of in order to move forward. The process of grieving is often marked by a desire for closure, for resolution, for the idea that one day the weight of our emotions will lift and we will be able to continue our lives without the constant ache of loss. However, grief doesn't always work in this way. The emotions we experience in the wake of loss are not a problem to be solved, but a process to be embraced. They are reflections of our heart's deep, raw, and authentic. To deny these emotions, to push them aside in the hope that they will disappear, is to miss the opportunity for true healing. Instead, we must learn to face them head on, to sit with them in their rawness, and allow them to reveal what we truly need in order to heal. Ultimately, the reflection of our emotions is not just about dealing with the pain of loss, it is about understanding the depth of the love that created it. Our emotions, however messy or confusing they may feel, are proof of the credible connection we shared with the ones we've lost. They are reminders of how deeply we love, how profoundly we were affected, and how much that love continues to shape who we are today. There are moments in life that leave us with an unsettling feeling, a sense that something is left undone, unsaid, or unresolved. This feeling of unfinished business is not always something we can easily define. It is something that lingers, quietly immerse our hearts and minds. Unfinished business often arises in the wake of significant moments, especially during times of loss. When someone we love passes away, the unresolved aspects of our relationship with them can become glaringly obvious. The conversations we never had, the apologies we never offered, or the words we never spoke all come rushing to the surface, creating a sense of unfinished business that demands attention. It's a reminder that sometimes relationships are not fully wrapped up before we are forced to say goodbye, leaving us with an emotional burden that we struggle to process. Unfinished business can manifest in various ways. It's not always about regret or guilt, though those emotions often play a part. Sometimes it's the simple desire for closure. In the face of death, there's a yearning for the chance to make things right, to heal the wounds that have never fully closed, or to have one last conversation that could bring peace. We are often left with questions that we may never get answers to. Why did things unfold the way they did? Was there something more we could have done? Were there moments where we could have shown more love, more patience, or more understanding? These unanswered questions create a space where unfinished business thrives, a space that prevents us from fully moving forward. When someone passes away suddenly, unexpectedly, or when the relationship was complicated, the feeling of unfinished business is often even more pronounced. The shock of their absence can bring to the surface a flood of emotions that haven't been processed. Perhaps we didn't have the chance to tell them how much we loved them, or we left words unspoken due to fear, pride, or anger. This lingering sense of not having had closure can haunt us, leading us to replay moments in our minds over and over again, wishing we could go back and say what was left unsaid. The emotional weight of this unfinished business can weigh heavily on our hearts, creating an internal conflict that makes it hard to fully embrace the reality of the loss. However, unfinished business is not always about things we left unsaid or undone. Sometimes it can be about the feelings that remain unaddressed, the unresolved emotions that were never processed or acknowledged. These feelings, whether they are anger, guilt, regret, or even unspoken love, often get buried deep within us, where they continue to fester and cause emotional turmoil. We may have never had the chance to fully express our feelings before the person left our lives, and this silence can create a gap in our hearts. It's as though our emotional world is incomplete, and we are left struggling to find peace with something that feels unfinished. In many ways, unfinished business can feel like a missed opportunity. It's the acknowledgement that time is finite and we can never truly go back to fix what has been left undone. We may try to find resolution through memories, through self-reflection, or through conversations with others. But the truth is, some of the business we leave behind may never truly be completed in the way we wish. The person we loved and lost is no longer here to hear our apologies, accept our explanations, or engage in the healing process. And sometimes this absence creates an emotional chasm that feels impossible to cross. Yet unfinished business doesn't have to be entirely negative. While it can be a source of pain, it can also serve as an invitation for growth. It's a reminder that there are areas in our lives where we still have room to heal, to learn, and to grow. If we allow ourselves to sit with the discomfort of unfinished business, we might uncover the deeper layers of our emotions. Perhaps there are lessons hidden in the unresolved parts of our relationships, lessons that can help us find forgiveness both for ourselves and for others. These unfinished chapters in our emotional lives can become stepping stones on the path to healing if we choose to address them. When we are left with unfinished business, the natural inclination is to seek closure. We want to feel that we've done everything we could to make amends, to resolve the tension, or to say the words we left behind. In some cases, closure can come through a sense of acceptance. It might not always look the way we expect, but accepting that we may never get all the answers we seek can be a powerful step in finding peace. By letting go of the need to resolve everything, we open ourselves to the possibility of emotional freedom. However, closure doesn't always come in the form we envision. Sometimes it is found through the act of forgiving ourselves for the things we couldn't change. Sometimes it comes through understanding that the past cannot be rewritten, but we can choose how to carry it forward. And at other times, closure may come in the quiet moments of reflection where we realize that the love we shared with someone doesn't require perfect resolution to be meaningful. Unfinished business may never be fully completed, but it can still become a part of our journey toward healing and acceptance. This concept of unfinished business extends beyond the realm of personal loss. It can be applied to all areas of our lives where we feel a sense of incompletion, whether it's in our careers, our relationships, or our own internal growth. There are always things left undone, goals unmet, and opportunities that slip by. But rather than allowing these feelings of unfinished business to paralyze us, we can choose to view them as an invitation to start anew. To approach life with a deeper sense of understanding that not everything requires perfect resolution, and that sometimes the beauty of life lies in the unfinished, the uncertain, and the incomplete. In the end, unfinished business isn't always something to fear or avoid. It's a reminder that our emotional landscapes are complex, and not everything will fit neatly into a box of closure. It's in the unspoken words, the unanswered questions, and the unresolved feelings that we often find our deepest lessons. These are the areas where growth can take place, where healing can begin, and where peace can ultimately be found. There are moments in life when we are urged to stop, breathe, and take a hard look at ourselves. These moments often come at times of crisis, loss, or deep uncertainty. But they can also arise during quiet, seemingly ordinary days when we feel a shift inside, like a call to look deeper into who we are and where we are headed. Self-reflection is more than just an occasional activity. It is a powerful tool that helps us grow, heal, and align with the life we truly desire. It is an invitation to pause and explore the layers of our thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and beliefs. Through this process, we uncover not only our strengths and wisdom, but also the areas where we are still struggling, healing, or resisting change. Self-reflection often begins with a simple question: who am I? It's easy to live our lives based on the roles we play: parent, spouse, employee, friend, and lose touch with the essence of who we are when we strip away those labels. We get so caught up in fulfilling these roles and meeting expectations, in rushing through our days, that we rarely take the time to check in with ourselves. But the call for self-reflection is an invitation to go beyond the surface, to peel back the layers, and to understand what drives us, what motivates us, and what fears or insecurities may still be lurking within us. It challenges us to look at the patterns in our lives, to recognize the beliefs that govern our decisions, and to assess whether these beliefs are truly our own or simply inherited from others. At its core, self-reflection is about becoming aware of how our internal world shapes our external reality. It helps us see the connection between our thoughts and our actions. And it illuminates the ways in which we might be sabotaging our own happiness or success without even realizing it. For example, if we consistently find ourselves in unhealthy relationships or patterns of behavior, self-reflection can help us identify the root of these patterns, whether it's a fear of abandonment, a need for validation, or an unresolved trauma from the past. Through this process, we gain clarity on the unconscious motivations that drive us, and we can make more conscious choices moving forward. In the context of grief and loss, self-reflection becomes even more important. The death of a loved one often brings a rush of emotions that we may not be prepared to handle. Grief is complicated. It doesn't follow a neat and predictable path. In the aftermath of loss, we may feel anger, guilt, confusion, sadness, or even relief. During this time, self-reflection helps us understand the different facets of our grief, allowing us to process our feelings in a healthier way. Instead of burying or avoiding our emotions, we are given the space to explore them, to ask ourselves why we feel what we feel, and to uncover the beliefs or fears that may be tied to our grief. Self-reflection allows us to find meaning in our loss, to honor the love we shared with the person who has passed, and to integrate that love into our present lives in a way that fosters healing. Self-reflection also acts as a mirror, reflecting not just our internal world, but also the way we interact with others. It asks us to take responsibility for our part in the dynamics of our relationships, to look at the ways we contribute to conflict, miscommunication, or distance. Are we holding on to grudges? Are we speaking from a place of fear or insecurity? Are we truly listening to the people we love, or are we only hearing what we want to hear? The process of self-reflection invites us to examine these questions with honesty and compassion, helping us take ownership of our actions and improve our connections with others. When we reflect on our relationships, we can make the conscious decision to shift our behavior, to forgive and to release the past in order to create healthier, more meaningful connections. In addition to its role in relationships, self-reflection plays a critical part in our personal growth and spiritual development. It calls us to examine our beliefs, our values, and the way we view the world. Through self-reflection, we can begin to see where our beliefs may have been shaped by society, family, or external influences, and where they may no longer serve us. It helps us distinguish between what is truly aligned with our authentic self and what has simply been adopted because it was expected of us. This process allows us to step into our own truth, to shed old limitations, and to create a life that is more in tune with our deepest desires. Self-reflection, in this sense, is not just about understanding who we are in the moment, but about actively creating the person we want to become. Another crucial aspect of self-reflection is the ability to acknowledge and accept our imperfections. It's easy to beat ourselves up over mistakes, to hold ourselves to unrealistic standards, or to shy away from vulnerability. But self-reflection allows us to embrace our flaws and shortcomings as part of our human experience. It's through this acceptance that we can truly heal, for only when we stop judging ourselves harshly can we begin to change. Self-reflection encourages us to practice self-compassion, to understand that growth is a process and that it's okay to make mistakes along the way. It reminds us that perfection is not the goal, rather the goal is progress, learning, and evolving. In times of uncertainty or struggle, self-reflection can also act as a guiding light, helping us regain focus and direction. When we are caught up in the chaos of life, it's easy to lose sight of our purpose or to feel overwhelmed by external circumstances. Self-reflection helps us reconnect with our inner wisdom, the deep knowing that resides within us, and provides us with clarity about the choices we need to make. It allows us to cut through the noise of everyday life and tune into what truly matters. By reflecting on our values, goals, and priorities, we can make more intentional, aligned decisions that align with our true selves, rather than getting swept away by the demands of the world around us. Self-reflection is not always a comfortable practice. It can bring up uncomfortable truths and force us to confront aspects of ourselves that we would rather avoid. But it is precisely in these moments of discomfort that we have the greatest potential for growth. It is only when we are willing to look deeply at ourselves, to be honest about our emotions and actions, that we can begin to heal, transform, and create the life we want. The call for self-reflection is an invitation to become more self-aware, to take responsibility for our own healing, and to step into our fullest potential. It is a call to listen to the whispers of our heart and soul, to understand our own needs, and to create space for healing and growth. In a world that often urges us to keep moving, to keep achieving, and to keep busy, self-reflection is the quiet moment of pause that allows us to truly hear ourselves.